Let's talk about Rúben Amorim, the new Pep, the new Jose, the new Carlo Ancelotti. What is he really? Even I did not know much about Amorim. I'm not going to be one of those guys who says, ever since his first day of coaching, I've been watching Amorim's path, I've been watching his story. Now I know exactly what he's going to do here. No, because I know almost as much as you guys do. For the past 3 or 4 weeks, I've been following Amorim ever since he's been declared as our manager, ever since Ten Hag left, and Amorim was the one who was touted as the next candidate. That's when we all started watching how Sporting sets up, how they play, and what Amorim's story is. Nobody really knew, let's be honest. And from what I've gathered, it reminds me more of a Jose and a Carlo setup than a Pep setup. And I'm actually glad. Why is that? You think about it. Whenever there have been successes in football history, it was never between 2 or 3 teams that played the exact same way. There was always one team same way. There was always one team, let's say a hero team, like Barcelona between 2008 to 2012 under Pep. They were considered the hero team, they play the right way of football. And then there was the 2011-2012 Real Madrid team. What did this team do specifically? Jose Mourinho's team. They have the record for the most number of goals scored in a La Liga season. Yes, Real Madrid, Jose Mourinho's counter-attacking Real Madrid have the record for most number of goals in a La Liga season. Yes, so this beat out Messi's 91 goal season, Messi's 72 goal season, where Pep had a free-flowing side, and yet he couldn't score more goals than Jose. It's not just that. We know Jose to be a defensive coach. And what happened at Chelsea? 15 goals only conceded in one whole Premier League season. His first Premier League season, by the way, Jose. And he holds both records. And if you ask me, the way I've seen Amorim's team set up, especially the game against Manchester City, this reminds me a lot of Jose Mourinho's teams. So one problem I know people will have is, I want possession. I want control of the game. For me, I always have this policy. I don't care how much possession we have. We can have 10% possession for all I care. But what I want you to get me is goals. What I want you to get me is points. At the same time, some decent football, obviously. We don't want park the bus football. And I don't think that's what Amorim is bringing, by the way. But we want results and goals. For this, we're all willing to do anything. So let me ask you guys, are you willing to see some football where most games against the big teams, we're willing to dominate the ball, we're willing to go gung-ho. But in some games, this could be, let's say, an Aston Villa away, where yes, we should be attacking them, but Amorim maybe says, we're going to defend. Are you willing to defend? And this is where I want to see, where does the fan base sit with this? Because I don't know exactly, because me see how the... And this is where I want to see, where does the fan base sit with this? Because me personally, I wouldn't mind this at all. Because for me, as long as we get results, as long as we're scoring goals, I don't care how it comes. But I know many people look at stats. They heavily obsess over stats. Like they want to see that we have the most passes in the league. We have the most tackles in the league. We have the most interceptions in the league. In fact, the only stat that does matter at the end of the day is goal scoring. If you can score goals, if you concede less, that is all we care about. And points. These 3 statistics are the only ones that matter. Now, let's go into Amorim and what is Amorim's system all about? What does he set up as? How does he set up a team? He sets up with a back 3, which is probably new because traditionally, we've always set up with a back 4. United have always set up with a back 4 and we're used to that, right? Fullbacks and 2 centre backs and goalkeeper behind them. But now we're going to have a totally different system. If Amorim is to believe, if previous case studies are to be believed, then Amorim is going to bring in the exact back 3, the 3-4-3 formation that he's brought in at Sporting. And if previous case studies are to be believed, then Amorim is going to bring in the exact back 3, the 3-4-3 formation that he's brought in at Sporting and Braga and the club before that. And I wouldn't expect too much different in this team as well. So let's just have a look at this team. So in the back 3, I feel we're going to have three centre backs, but they're going to be mobile centre backs, as we all know. At left centre back, I would not put Lisandro Martinez. In fact, I would put Luke Shaw there. Why? Because we've always seen he outperforms everybody else when it comes to that left centre back role. And under Ten Hag, do you guys remember that time when Lisandro Martinez was injured after the World Cup? This was around January 2023, when we beat Man City at home especially. Luke Shaw slotted in as a left centre back, and I would argue that was one of his best performances for United. That 5 or 6 game era was amazing, and he happened to slot in at left centre back. So, do we really want Lisandro Martinez, who, let's be honest, has been shaky this season? He has not been anywhere close to his level. Maybe this is his level, because people have been saying he's been found out now that Varane has left, and I sort of do concur with that. Now let's go to the middle of the centre-back trio. I would slot Lenny Yoro here. Why? Because in this Amorim system, you obviously want possession and control, and control is something that Lenny Yoro has shown so far at Lille at least. Now, when he comes here, the transition is going to be different, especially now that he's back after an injury. We know it'll take time, but the fact that he's both-footed, the fact that he's lean, and the fact that he's fast, that means that centre-back position belongs to him. We want somebody who can ping a diagonal ball across, and that I've seen from Lenny Yoro, at least in the first 2 games that we saw. Yes, it's pre-season, but he has the ability to do that. Especially under Amorim's coaching, we could see many players outperforming things that we thought they could do. Now, at right centre-back, I would put Matthijs de Ligt. He, I'm sure everybody can agree, is somebody who has outperformed all our expectations. Well, I for one thought he's going to be a steady signing. But I didn't think he was going to be as influential as he has been right now. Because, let's be honest, it's been De Ligt and Mazraoui. Those two have been our best signings of the summer. Yes, he is very good, but he will make mistakes. I always tell people, he might score an own goal. He might seem very rash. Luckily, that side hasn't been exposed of his yet, but that could happen. And we have to stick by him because Matthijs de Ligt has experience and he's a leader. And we need that kind of presence at centre-back. Now let's move to the wing-back positions. Now you probably do see it here, but I would actually put in the left wing-back spot, yes, I would put the captain, Bruno Fernandes. You might tell me now, Amorim is not going to play him there. I understand. Amorim might not play him there. I'm telling you, based on what I've seen of Amorim, I would feel that these players suit these particular roles based on what Sporting players were asked in an Amorim team. And I feel Bruno Fernandes slots in at left wing back perfectly. Why? Because at left wing back, you need an engine and you need to have the ability to put in crosses. You don't need the ability to control play too much. And what is Bruno's one flaw? Bruno's inability to calm play down. Yes, he has been showing signs in the last few games. Let's take the bigger sample size. It's been how many years? It's been nearly 5 years, coming up to 5 years soon. And Bruno has been playing the exact same way, apart from the last 4 or 5 games. But that isn't enough to tell me that he has changed completely. And in that case, I would say, we have to make the best use of Bruno. Bruno is willing to get assists, and he might get you the odd goal as well. So the best thing that you can do is slot him in a place where he can run around and he can ping balls in without much thought and where he can run around. Now, right wing back, on the other hand, would be very straightforward. Mazraoui, obviously. Now, Dalot is not an option. In my opinion, Dalot has not shown me enough to even be a part of this team, and I would not consider him to start anywhere. Mazraoui takes that spot clean because he's been the best player that we've had this season. And for 12 million as well, what a bargain. He will add on to the technical floor, and this will make sure that this Amorim team will be able to maintain possession, to maintain control of the game. To maintain control, we need technical players. And you don't get many more technical right backs or right wing backs than Mazraoui. And so at right wing back, I'd slot Mazraoui. Now, this is the contentious part. At centre mid, I would put Casemiro and Ugarte. They've been solid. Let's be honest. Ever since Ruud took over, Casemiro and Ugarte, that pivot has been amazing. Now, yes, maybe the technical level of that midfield could be a little better. But me personally, I'm not concerned with the technical level of that midfield. You know why? Because that's going to be taken care of by the wing backs, by the inside forwards, and by the striker. So over here, yes, we would like the technical level to be high. And Casemiro is outstanding in that department, by the way. So we don't have to worry about Casemiro too much. But Ugarte, he's not the best on the ball. We understand that. But if you forget that aspect of his play, if you forget his passing, if you overlook his dribbling, you will see what he actually offers to the team. And that is defensive stability. That is interceptions. That is his game. So now if you take it like this, let's say Ugarte is just his partner, where one person will go and the other person will sit. Now, if the other person wants to go, then the first person will sit. That's how this pivot works. And this pivot is working perfectly. So I don't think we need to change anything, at least till the end of the season. And now that we got them two done, let's go to the inside forwards. Yes, over here, Amorim does not play your traditional cam. He does not play your traditional winger either. And this means many of our players will struggle. But there are two players that I feel will not struggle at all in this system. And that is Amad Diallo and Kobbie Mainoo. Why? Because if you take this inside forward role, they don't have to be runners. All they have to do is be creative machines, because they are going to be the engine that creates plus scores at the same time. And if you need this in your team, what better than Kobbie Mainoo and Amad Diallo, both who are nimble-footed, who are amazing at creating chances and also finishing. And if you want chances to go to anybody, then it would probably be to Amad and Kobbie, because they are ruthless. They will finish their dinner. You know that. And even their passing, their dribbling, it's all elite. And they're the two best youngsters we have in this club by a mile. It's no debate at all. And so Kobbie and Amad as our cams. And yes, at number 9, I would start Joshua Zirkzee. Why do I say Zirkzee when he has not been performing well is probably your question. Why is it not Rashford? Why is it not Højlund? Well, the idea is that Amorim likes technical players, right? So when you put a team of technical players together, you will see that there isn't a lot of the ball being lost. The ball is within their control. So when the ball is within their control, that is when they have fun. And when they have fun, technical players rely on confidence. You inject them with some confidence and you will see a true technical player shining. Zirkzee's problem at the moment is confidence. Because if you talk about his passing, you cannot complain about his passing. His passing is on point. His dribbling is on point. We've seen it for the Netherlands. We've seen even clips in Bologna. He can make jokes out of defenders and it isn't a chore for him. That is just the player he is. So all we have to do is just embrace it and allow players just like him around him. So think about it. You play Garnacho on the left. You play Højlund with Zirkzee. The problem is neither of these two players are technical. They are more runners. They are more suited to a counter-attacking system. And this is the exact same thing that happened with Antony as well. After game 3, he changed to a counter-attacking system. Now that goes against everything you believed in, everything that you were brought in for. And Antony was amazing at Ajax because he played their possession style of football. But now that you come to United, why he hasn't shined is because he's now playing a totally different system to what he's been coached for all these years. And when now you play in an unfamiliar system, what happens next? You're struggling to get a few shots off. Then what's going to happen next? You're going to mess up even more. And then even more. And now you look like a party piece. And now you don't know where to go because they are all shining. Now everybody is saying you're trash because you can't perform in a style which you were never bought for in the first place. And that same thing has been happening with Zirkzee all this while. Zirkzee was such an obvious buy. But why? Because he's a possession-based player. He's not a counter-attacking player. All these weeks under Ten Hag and even under Ruud, we have been playing counter-attacking football. We have not played possession football all season. So how can you judge Zirkzee based on that? But one thing you can judge Zirkzee on is when he comes on, what does he try? He knows how to link play and he's average in the air, which is way better than Højlund for beginners. And he can make the ball stick to him, which is something we don't have with anybody else. And so that is why I would put Zirkzee as our number 9. And this gives you an idea of, well, at least what I would pick under Amorim. Me personally, I think once Amorim does come in, he's going to make sure that either Bruno has a role in the inside forward role and Rashford will have a role as well. Maybe Garnacho might play in one of the wing-back spots. And I know one of your biggest concerns for Amorim would be, will this be another Ten Hag? Will we go back to a place where we're going to say this was not the manager for us? And now I thought about this a lot as well. The truth is, regardless of what he's done at Sporting, regardless of what we've seen, we will not know for sure what kind of a manager he is till the end of January, I would say. And that is why I've already said it in my mind, and I might tell it to you guys as well. I'm going to give this manager 6 months. Why do I say 6 months? Because by the time we touch around March or April, we will know whether this manager is just procrastinating or whether he actually has a style of play that he's trying to implement. Because the most important thing is that you have a regular style of play that you have against most teams, against 75% of the teams. How are you going to play? Under Ten Hag, we know that it was some kind of 3-1-6 setup, and that 3-1-6 setup completely annihilated our midfield. Now, are we going to repeat the same mistakes again? Are we going to go back to counter-attacking? Well, the way that we've seen Sporting play so far, I would say no. And the way that people have been talking about Amorim, how he's very confident in the ideas that he wants, I could expect an Amorim team to play the way that Sporting plays. However, we're obviously going to have PTSD from Ten Hag. And so the one thing that I would tell you to give you some confidence would be a part of his first interview that I heard, where normally I've seen other managers do this, where they talk about a young squad that they have and they say, give them time and we will get there eventually. Amorim said, we have a young team. Yes, we do. But the difference is that they are Manchester United players. And if they are Manchester United players, if they were hired in the first place over here, that means they have to perform right now. And this means he's not going to take shit from anybody. You don't perform for the team, you're going to be dumped out. And this is what I got from the interview itself. But now many players, many managers have tricked us before in interviews. But it's a very positive sign. If we are to say, yes, we have a young team, but we are going to try to do things our way and we're going to start with an idea. And if you don't meet the criteria of the idea that we are trying to perform, then you're going to be gone within a jiffy. So, having said all that, will Amorim be a success or not? Well, evidence points to most probably. However, I would say we have to conduct, all of us as a fan base, have to conduct a performance review somewhere in March or April, because that is when we will know, is he an imposter or is he the real deal? And if he's implemented a playstyle, if we have got some decent results by then, if we are somewhere decent within European competition and we maybe, just maybe, might have a Carabao Cup with us, or even we have a playstyle, that is enough for me. But if we don't have a playstyle, we can be winning the Carabao Cup, but if we don't have a playstyle, we are playing counter-attacking football. It seems unlikely, and I'm telling you it's not going to happen, but May time we'll have to make a decision as a fan base at least of whether we want this manager or not. People will say, you can't keep going through the same process and trying to find the right things. That is how a successful club does it. You keep hiring and firing till you get the right manager, till you get the right formula. You keep going, and one day it will stick. It can't keep going wrong forever. That is the idea, guys. At some point, it will stick. And when that point will stick, we do not know. And we hope this is the manager to do it for us. So that is Rúben Amorim. Let's just hope he's a success. And we're 1 week away from his debut. Ipswich, that's going to be amazing. So see you guys in the next one.